What's going on, guys? I am Toxic Jordan. Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be jumping into the brand new SYN Shenron fight here. As you can see, I am using a bit of a peculiar team, not even opting for the 200% lead, but I really wanted to try out SSBKK's Easy A here, so I'm thinking this team might be able to get it done. We are going to utilize the Universe Survival Saga support memory, and we're going to bring a Whis as well, just because, you know, with this not being a 200% team, I'm really not super confident that we'll be able to, you know, clear this easily or anything. So if we do run into a situation where I feel like we're going to get caught, then we may actually depend on using the item. So we shall see about that. But ultimately, the idea here was pretty much just to try and wank SSBKK as much as we can, and then you know, see what we're able to do here. Okay, so I believe I'm gonna want to leave. I'm probably gonna want to rotate Goku Frieza off here. Does Android 17 raise defense on Super? He does, so we probably are going to want him to be in the second slot, because UI Goku, we're basically just going to be depending on him to dodge it anyway, right? So it doesn't really matter if he's taking hits before or after he supers. Okay, and then we're just barely able to get the 18 key there with Goku Frieza, which is good because that gives them, you know, a much bigger defensive boost, which they are going to need, having type disadvantage here. Nice. So we do dodge the super attack for the turn. So I think we should at least be free and clear to live here. So yeah, I mean, this is one of like the hardest hitting fights in the game. So I suppose it's not really that like hard to take damage here. But I would say that is one of the benefits of running just a 170 lead instead of a full 200% team, is that we're probably going to be able to take damage a little bit easier, which is pretty much going to guarantee us to be able to use the Spirit Bomb active skills from SSBKK, right? Because that is the main draw behind that unit. Obviously, they're an absolute behemoth post EZA here. And once they're able to, you know, take a few hits and build up those stats in their passive, then they're going to be looking absolutely amazing either way. Okay, so it looks like mine and the guest are built exactly the same. So they're literally the exact same down to the number. So it doesn't really matter which one we keep on rotation here. I suppose I'll keep mine on rotation. Let's check the hidden potential for this one and see which. So he's got 11 additional 22 crit and 3 dodge, and then mine has more additional less crit. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and run it like this. So let's just, yeah, I guess we're just hoping now at this point that we don't get super attacked right out the gates here. Because obviously we are going to need to build up a little bit of defense first. But with the guard, you can see we're definitely not taking any damage yet. But yeah, we will want to build up as many stats as possible, especially for the next phase, which is going to be an AGL phase. You know, at no surprise that from the hardest fight in the game currently, it is properly type protected, because you're going into the AGL phase and then into the final phase, which is physical. And they do that on purpose, right? So that you can't just load up on a ton of STR units and then destroy the physical phase without first getting the challenge of going through a phase where you have entire type disadvantage because of the AGL stage, right? So yeah, we are going to have to worry about that AGL phase coming up. But it is perfect. I'm hoping we don't KO right here so that we can actually take these extra hits that we need to. And, ooh, is that going to do it? No. Perfect. That is exactly what I wanted to see. This just gives us more and more rotations for SSBKK to continue to build up, right? Because, so, I think we'll probably leave Android 17 on rotation. These guys do link up a little bit better, which makes sense because they're both God Gokus. But yeah, I just for the defensive support and stuff, I think it's probably smartest to leave Android 17 on rotation here. So yeah, we'll go ahead and run it like this. Oh wow, their defensive stats are looking pretty comparable at the moment. Not bad. Okay, yeah, so we will do this, and then, yeah, this is perfect, because starting on that next rotation, we're going to have SSBKK back around. Awesome, and we dodge another super attack. That is definitely what we need to see. That's probably the only way that we're going to continue to survive for the entirety of this event, right? Because if we end up taking like probably even one super attack from an inopportune character that like wasn't prepared to tank it, then I assume the entirety of our life bar is just going to deplete all in one. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Okay. Let's see here. It looks like he has one group attack that he's launching. That's definitely not too bad. Those group attacks really don't hit that hard. If anything, they're actually a help because there's so many units nowadays that require you to receive hits in order for them to build up stats in their passive and stuff, or whatever additional effects the card has. So yeah, the fact that, you know, these AoEs don't hit very hard and they're just allowing more units to take more hits throughout the turn is honestly just a benefit for you because you're going to be able to build up a lot more of your characters, right? Especially on those teams that are very, very, you know, that are stacked with a bunch of units like that. I know a lot of the top tier teams in the game now pretty much do run with like most of the staple units on those teams are the type of units that require you to receive hits in order for them to build up. So, okay, so the type disadvantage is starting to hurt us a little bit there. You can see we weren't just taking double digits, but we are still continuing to stack after every hit that we take. And then obviously we're stacking more after each super attack that we do as well. Though I don't remember if he stacks a defense on super. I think it might actually just be attack. But yeah, it looks like we are fully built up with this guy now. Oof, and UI Goku takes a punch. That is not what we wanted to see. Hopefully we won't see any more hits taken from him this turn. But I guess that being said, you know, now we are getting pretty close to... Oh, we got to dodge this. We got to dodge this. Yes, there we go. Attaboy. We're getting pretty close to being below that 59% HP mark. I actually think we might already be there. So starting next turn, we might actually be able to just launch a Spirit Bomb. Though I think it would be smartest to save those until the very final phase. But yeah, looks like we do have the ability to launch the Spirit Bomb active if we want to. I think what we'll go ahead and do is launch the UI Goku active in hopes that maybe we can finish off the phase on this turn. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work, but we'll see here. So yeah, let's go ahead and launch his active skill real quick. That'll be good. And then that should proc his first super attack effect, I think, to where now he'll have guaranteed crits for the entire turn because he has the stacking 50% chance, right? So yeah, same deal here. I think I want to put UI Goku in the first slot. Everyone's going to take a hit anyway because of the AoE attack happening at the beginning there, but I think this makes the most sense. Oh, no, actually, I think I do want to keep it this way because this is the friend SSBKK that's been rotated off, and he actually has only gotten like one stack through the entire event so far, so I do want him to start building up a little bit more. Because I know we're going to take some hits here, I want to select all these same type key spheres so we can get a little bit of healing back. I'm sure that it won't be any issue taking the damage. Yeah, we're already back below the 59%, so that is perfectly fine. Okay, so I guess I'm hoping for some critical hits here. We'll see. This is the friend one who has a much higher chance to crit than mine. Wow, even without the crit, we still were able to put up a lot of damage there. That is pretty impressive to see. Okay, so he's up to a total of 4 stacks. I think he needs a 5th or a 6th stack in order to be fully built up. So he is almost there at this point. That is good to see. Okay, and this should be a guaranteed crit here. I'm really, really hoping that we can finish off this phase on this turn. That would be nice. Okay, the third super helps, and again, this is going to be a guaranteed crit. So now we just need Android 17 to show out for us a little bit. Hopefully, we'll see. But yeah, if we're able to finish off this this phase on this turn, that would be really ideal because then we can just go right in with a Spirit Bomb on the next turn. Nice, perfect. He gets the critical hit, finishes him off. Okay, and we are on to the final phase. So we have, now this is our Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku, who is fully built up at this point. So if we peep the attack stat, that is looking quite nasty. Yeah, he's getting the infinite greatly raising attack. He only raises defense for 1 turn on super. Okay, makes sense. And then that Spirit Bomb active skill, because we're below the 59% HP, we're able to get that active here. Causes ultimate damage to enemy and raises all allies' attack by 30% for 1 turn. So that secondary ability is definitely not to be slept on, right? Let's go ahead and turn on the animation real quick, just so we can see this active skill. I haven't seen it in so long, since this card pretty much first came out. There really hasn't been that many opportunities to use him and, you know, take advantage of the Spirit Bomb active. Nice. We did quite a hefty amount of damage there. And then we also give the attack bonus to the entire rotation, which, again, even just to the Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken Goku himself is going to do a lot of damage, right? Wow, he's got all 7 links active here. That is super impressive. I kind of want to leave him in the middle slot just so that we can see him active with all 7 links. The only problem is I feel like we're probably just going to finish off the fight if I put him in the first slot, which is probably better, right? So let's go ahead and just do that then. What's our defense stat looking like? 270. Okay. And a pretty gnarly attack stat there too. Definitely good to see. Okay, we'll get a little bit of same type orbs here for that, just that bit of cushion healing. Oof, and then we're getting tagged with a super right away. Actually, this might be GG for us. We might die here. Oh, just barely. Interesting, interesting. So it looks like we probably should have put UI Goku in the first slot there. He would have dodged for us, and then we would have gotten the win. Okay, let's jump back in for another attempt here. All right, our rotations are looking decent. Really, the only requirement is to have the 2 SSBKKs on opposite rotations. So this actually worked out a little bit better for us than it did the last time because, you know, we're not going to have to deal with throwing one of them in the 3rd slot and just kind of getting rid of him, right? Now we'll be able to fully take advantage here. Really quick, let's double check his passive because I can't remember exactly how many hits he needs to take to be fully built up. So yeah, 6 hits because he needs to get 10% at a time up to 59%. Okay, perfect. So 6 hits is what we'll need to take, and it looks like we're going to be able to take 5 out of those 6 right here at the very beginning, which is definitely perfect. We want him, ideally we would want both of them to be fully built up by the time we get into that second phase, the AGL phase, just so that we have the most defense possible. You know, just in case they get tagged with a super, which would be inopportune. But we'll see here. We'll see here what ends up happening. Based on the amount of damage we were able to dish out in that final phase, if it works out a little bit better for us, and we're able to get both Spirit Bombs to activate, I think that is going to be a pretty free win. Because we did take almost half of his HP, and then that didn't even include the entire attacking phase that we were about to go through, right? I'm sure that if we didn't get tagged with that super right up front, that we were going to dish out quite a bit more damage that turn. So, yeah, it's looking like this team will work out. Under perfect conditions, it is going to operate the way I would hope it would. But again, it's just going to be about getting a little bit lucky and not getting hit with those supers. But we'll just keep in mind that, you know, anytime I throw a UI Goku on the team, it's pretty much 100% chance that they're going to dodge. They just don't let me down. So we'll keep that in mind when we get to that final phase if we need to depend on them in slot 1. Okay, so same deal here. I'm going to go ahead and put UI Goku, or I'm sorry, SSBKK in the first slot because I want him to get all of those stacks to build up. We'll keep 17 on rotation because we're below that 50 or that 77% HP mark. He does have his extra damage reduction active, so on top of being an awesome support, he is now an amazing tank himself. Okay, just the additional normal, so we're definitely not going to finish off this phase on this turn, I'm thinking. Which honestly is not the worst thing ever. This is kind of one of those teams that I'm okay taking it a little bit slower. Oh, actually, I might have to hold my tongue. I think we are going to finish off this phase here. This guy's most certainly going to give us at least 1 crit or additional. Yeah. Okay, well, no big deal. We will move right on to the second phase. It would have been nice to have 1 more turn to select same type orbs so that we can get a little bit of HP back here. We are struggling just a bit in that department. Um, I'm not really sure how I want to operate this turn. This looks like it's going to be a little bit of a precarious one, but I suppose getting hit by a super is the only thing that could really give us a KO here. Other than that, I think we'll be fine. So let's just pray that that doesn't happen. And the group super is not going to be... Oh, here it is. Do we dodge? We dodge. Shouldn't have even been a question. It's UI Goku. Oh, no, and then he gets hit by the normal. That actually might be a problem. I think we might be KO'd here now because of that. We don't really have enough HP to work with. The main thing that I'm worried about is that group attack. Because obviously, you know, if UI Goku dodges and if SSBKK being post-super here is you know, absolutely going to tank fine. But I'm worried about the Goku Frieza, who haven't supered yet. They might actually take just enough damage for us to lose here. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, actually, if we get a critical hit, we're going to finish off this phase, and then we'll be fine. The triple super came in clutch here. Oh, so close. No. Okay. Yeah, just as I thought. Barely enough damage to not live there. We're so close here. We'll go ahead and jump back in one more time. I think we can definitely do this. Definitely. We're going to have to grab ourselves a SSBKK friend. Okay, I am absolutely determined. I'm kind of trying not to use the Whis. It really doesn't make the most sense, though, because we are obviously using the support memory already. So technically, it's not a no-item run. It just feels better when you don't have to, like, mid-battle, like, stop everything you're doing and actually apply an item that basically gives you a free turn. That's kind of what I'm trying to avoid here overall. Okay, so we'll put SSBKK in the second slot so he can get the most amount of stacks possible for the turn. And then, unfortunately, Goku Frieza are going to have to take a few attacks there at the end. Hopefully, that's not where the super attack lies, because they are going to take a bit of damage. Having type disadvantage is definitely not going to service them well. So, yeah, we're not going to see SSBKK building up quite as quick this time, because he was able to be fully built up by the second time he came around. We're not looking quite that good, just because we got a little bit unlucky about where the placement of the attacks were this time. Okay, this should be fine. I don't think we're going to take too much here. Yeah, that is good. That is a serviceable amount of damage that I will accept. We did kind of get really unlucky when we got tagged with the super right away the last time. We didn't, you know, SSBKK was the same character that got hit, but they didn't have a chance to build up any of their stats in the passive yet, so that super attack did, like, double the damage to us last time that it did this time. If we had been going into the second phase with these circumstances, then we probably would have been in much better shape, and we would have had more than 60k HP to work with for Goku Frieza to take that hit, right? Okay, this should be sayonara to the first phase. So it looks like our Super Saiyan Blue is going to build up a lot quicker here. I'm kind of hoping he doesn't finish off so we can take that extra hit. But obviously it would take, you know, multiple supers and crits and stuff. And as this is ours, he is more likely to launch that third additional because he's got so much additional in his hidden potential. And we see it right there. But he has a much lower chance to critical hit. Okay, perfect. That is literally the golden scenario, because he managed to push the enemy down far enough that we're probably just going to finish him off right here, but didn't quite KO him, so we were able to take the extra hit for the extra stack there. Okay, so on to the second phase. I believe we should go like this. Yeah, just because UI Goku has type disadvantage, I'm a little bit nervous about keeping him on rotation here. Well, I don't know. I was saying earlier in the video that I usually can just depend on the UI Gokus, right? They pretty much just do what I want them to. So let's go ahead and risk it all for him. But obviously we're going to put SSBKK in the first slot to get those stacks built up before he attacks. So potentially, if this goes too well, then the issue we could run into is not yet being below the 70 or the 59% HP mark to be able to launch the Spirit Bombs on the final phase. That hasn't been looking like it's going to be an issue, but with the way that this run is going, that is certainly a possibility. Especially if we dodge the super attack right here. Of course we do. So, yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a little bit tough for us to be below that 59% HP mark. I guess what I'm hoping is that he super attacks us right at the beginning of the next turn. Oh, no, that actually was really good. I think, did that put us below the 59? It did. Perfect. Okay. I forgot that because we were above the 77% HP mark, that Android 17 was still going to take a lot of damage there. So, that works out really well. Okay, so same thing that we did last time. Let's go ahead and launch the UI Goku active skill here, just for that bit of extra damage for the turn. Now, here's the tricky thing. I don't want to select all these same type orbs because we're going to heal up. And that could be problematic. Oh, no, actually, we already know that Goku Frieza are going to take damage here, right? So we should be okay then to select these same type orbs. Yeah, we only need to take about 10% of our HP there, so that shouldn't be too big of an issue. But yeah, we'll go ahead and avoid doing any other same type orbs for the turn, just to be sure. We obviously could have healed up a lot more if we had, selected the proper typings between both the SSBKK and the Goku Frieza here, but I think this is probably the smartest choice. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, if we do manage to get lucky with a couple critical hits, we're probably not going to take any damage this turn because SSBKK can definitely finish off this phase with the proper rotation here. He can, if we get lucky. Yeah, looks like oh. Yeah, the critical hit did it. Dang, okay. So yeah, this is a bit of an issue only because now we don't have the Spirit Bomb ready to go. Because our HP is too high at the moment. Okay, well, there's not much that we can do to control that, so I guess it's just going to be another turn of having to get lucky, right? Because we're on the Big Daddy Boss phase, I am definitely fine healing up as much as possible here. Just to make sure that we can survive, because I have no idea how some of these units are going to take damage. Yeah, if SSBKK isn't even double-digit tanking, then we're definitely in trouble here, right? Okay, well, let's go ahead and run it back one more time. I'll go ahead and meet you guys in the final physical phase, and then we'll just go from there, because we've seen the beginning of the fight enough. So yeah, I'll meet you guys back in that final phase, and we'll see if we can get the win with SSBKK here. Okay, so we are back here in the final phase. This has actually taken me quite a few attempts, and I'm kind of borderline over it, but I do want to get the clear here, just for the sake of the video. So what we are actually going to do is go ahead and double Whis up here, since we just entered the final phase, and we have literally no HP to work with. So we're going to go ahead and use the double Whis, and then let's go ahead and launch the Spirit Bomb real quick and see how much damage we're able to do with it first off, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so a solid 22 million, and then obviously we're getting the attack bonus for the turn as well. Now, if you'll notice here, I did put the physical UI SYN Goku on the team just because the dodging was working out better than the AGL God Goku. He just wasn't able to stack up or anything because we kept rotating him off, so he was kind of a bad option to have on the team, just overall. Okay, so we are going to get a little bit of a buffer for healing here, which is nice. I figure with the double Whis, we should be able to survive a super attack then if that does come our way. Oh, wow, the rare dodge you see from from SSBKK. That's definitely not something you usually want to see, right? Just because he does need to stack up all of those times, but he is fully stacked at this point. So yeah, I'm curious to see how much damage we're going to be able to put out here with him. 15 million, definitely not terrible. And then obviously he's got at least one more super attack to come. Hopefully two, though. We'll see. Okay, so there's the one, and the attack is just going to keep going up. That attack stat is just going to absolutely skyrocket. I think that's a big point to make about this unit, that I think he is definitely better with the with building him with additionals than crits. Nice, okay. So yeah, it looks like the double Whis was enough for us to just be able to fully tank the super attack. That is wonderful. But yeah, because if you get the critical hits, then you're just not going to be taking advantage of quite as many of those great attack raises, which I think are really, really important, right? I think people focus a little bit too heavily on the Spirit Bomb because a lot of the time you want to give them hidden potential, crit in their hidden potential so that that will apply to the Spirit Bomb so that you'll end up being able to do more damage on that one specific attack. But I think overall, just as a unit, especially because there are a lot of teams that SSBKK looks really strong on that aren't that aren't going to have the activation conditions for him to be able to use the Spirit Bomb anyway, you might as well just invest into additional attacks for him. I think that just makes him overall a more well-rounded unit. So I guess to finish up here, we'll go ahead and see the Spirit Bomb active skill one more time. I believe the friend Spirit Bomb Goku here is actually fully built up as well, so this should be a pretty hefty attack. It looked like we had about 5 links active here on the turn. So I'm assuming this is going to be enough to finish him off. Perfect with the critical hit. It is. There we go. So we did have to quote-unquote cheat a little bit and use some items, but not the worst thing ever. We were able to get the clear with the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. But yeah, as long as you're using him on a 170 lead with the... with the full Universe Survival Saga build, then obviously you're probably not going to be... you're probably not going to be clearing this event like free and clear that way. Universe Survival Saga definitely needs some huge buffs to be looking decent at all. But there we go. That is your boy Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku absolutely demolishing the SYN Shenron fight. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to check out the Discord, link in description. That's going to do it for this one, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.